The White House has just mandated that every federal government employee must be fully vaccinated by November 22nd. That's more than 2 million people. A senior official within the administration has told this show that preparations are underway to implement this order. According to this official, unvaccinated employees in the White House are routinely forced to wear neon wristbands, which is interesting that there are unvaccinated employees at the White House at this late date. Why is that exactly? Additionally, this official told us, government human resources officials will be in charge of determining whether an employee's religious beliefs are, quote, sincerely held if they ask for religious accommodation. In other words, the government will decide how much you believe in God and whether your belief is valid or not. If employees don't get an exemption and refuse to take the shot, they'll be fired. The administration believes it could start dismissal proceedings in mid-December. That means by Christmas, tens of thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands of federal workers may be unemployed. The administration is also forcing the majority of the private sector, workers who do not work for Joe Biden, to get vaccinated. How can this be legal? Very few are asking that question. Jenin Younes is one who is. She's litigation counsel at the New Civil Liberties Alliance, and she is fighting back against vaccine mandates at universities. She joins us now. Thank you. I appreciate your coming on. I know that I don't think share the same politics, and you'll probably take a lot of grief for doing this show, so that makes me extra grateful that you're willing to do it. Tell us what your case is against vaccine mandates at universities.
Thank you so much for having me, Tucker. I'm currently bringing a case against Michigan State University on behalf of an employee, Jenin, who has natural immunity to COVID-19. She recovered from COVID last year. We're arguing that for that reason, the government has no compelling interest in forcing her to get the vaccine and violating her rights to bodily autonomy and to decline medical treatment. It's also important to note that Michigan State University is a public university, so these arguments couldn't necessarily be used in the private context, certainly not when private employers are acting independently of the government.
So your answer suggests that, there are huge principles, important principles at stake here. Tell us what those principles are that you are defending with this suit, do you think?
Well, they're both legal principles that the Constitution recognizes: the right to decline medical treatment, the right to not have things put in your body that you don't want. There's a substantial body of case law that was developed after the Jacobson case that I'm sure a lot of people have heard about,
yes,
that's used to justify vaccine mandates and that is really not applicable to the present situation, and certainly not when people have natural immunity. There has been a huge corruption of science that's been going on throughout the country with this. We know that natural immunity exists. We know that it's robust, and the denial of it in these institutions' policies and the government's policies is inexplicable to me and unforgivable.
I agree with that completely. People feel so desperate and alone. At this point, if you haven't gotten the vaccine, which is free and readily available, there's a reason for it. You've thought this through and decided not to. You thought that was your right. But people are being forced to. Some are being forced to get fake vaccine cards, which is understandable, I think, because they feel for it. They're trapped. What do they do? What's their recourse if you're a person like that facing firing with no unemployment benefits because you won't take this shot? What do you do?
Well, most of them seem to email us. I have thousands of emails in my inbox from desperate people who don't want to get the vaccine. And, you hit on something really perfect there, which is that most people have thought this through. They know what's best for themselves and their health. Joe Biden and Rochelle Walensky and Anthony Fauci, they don't know what's best for people and their own health. I spoke to a woman in New York today who has natural immunity. She recovered from COVID in July, and she got a different vaccine the day before she was supposed to get the COVID vaccine, and she had a very bad reaction to it. She actually lost use of her arm for a number of weeks, and so she was really scared. She didn't show up to the appointment to get her COVID shot, and she's rightly scared, and she doesn't want to get the COVID vaccine now, and she has natural immunity. But because of New York's vaccine passport program, she can't go to restaurants, bars, she can't go to work meetings, and it's really ruining her life. So what we're looking at here is the government interfering in what should be personal health decisions that people make with their doctor.
I don't want to blow up your inbox even more, but it's the New Civil Rights Alliance, and this is a civil right worth defending. So few are, and are grateful that you are, and for explaining that to us. Thanks so much, Jenin Younes.
Oh, thank you so much. And people should feel free to reach out to us at nclalegal.org.
Good, and I hope you can help. Thank you. So Revolver News first reported on the FBI's involvement, its deep involvement in the events of January 6th. They were attacked for reporting that. We reported it as well, and we were attacked too as conspiracy theorists. It turns out it was true. And now there's proof. That's straight ahead. You can go to tuckercarlson.com during the break if you want. Get a book, cut out big tech. We will be right back.
Every time the chute opens, my life gets very simple. The bull's job is to buck me off.